John chapter 15, verse 13. Greater hath no man than this, to lay down his life for a friend. Let us rise and pray the Lord's Prayer. This morning I want to talk to you about a gentleman, Colonel Robert L. Howard. Colonel Howard is considered probably the most decorated man in the modern U.S. Army. As many of you know, my second semester class is going to be on the Medal of Honor, and that's where I came across Colonel Howard in doing some research for that. Just to give you an idea, just some of his badges so you understand. He had the Ranger tab, he had a Special Forces tab, he had a Combat Infantryman's badge, Expert Infantryman badge, Airborne Wings, Air Assault Wings, multiple other nations' airborne wings. He was considered a jump master. That's just the badges that he earned. His awards or ribbons included the Air Medal with a V device and the numeral 3, 1 awarded for heroism, 2 for aerial achievement, Meritorious Service Medal with 2 oak leaf clusters, the Purple Heart with a silver and 2 bronze oak leaf clusters. So you understand what that means. That means he was wounded 8 times. 8 times he was awarded the Purple Heart. He was actually wounded 14 times. They gave him 8 Purple Hearts for it. He had the Defense Superior Service Medal, the Silver Star, and what we're going to talk about now, 2 Distinguished Service Crosses, and the Medal of Honor. He enlisted in the Army when he was 17. He became a Green Beret. He was serving in Vietnam. He actually served 54 months in Vietnam. For those of you who do simple math, it's 4.5 years. During this 4.5 years, in a 13-month span, he will be nominated for the Medal of Honor not once, not twice, 3 times. He has a small challenge though. Because of who he is and what he does, because he's a Green Beret and who he's working with, politics demands that he can't be awarded the Medal of Honor. Because part of the Medal of Honor award is you're telling who you are, where you fought, what you did. And what he's doing is considered secret. So secret, in fact, that they don't want to release where he's at. He's in other countries. He's really not in South Vietnam. He's in Laos and Cambodia for the first 2 awards. The first award, or first nomination, goes something like this. On November 16, 1967, Staff Sergeant Howard carried out an action that led to his recommendation for the nation's highest honor. While his men were destroying a cache of enemy supplies, Howard's team came upon 4 North Vietnamese soldiers whom he shot. The team was then pinned down by heavy machine gun fire. Howard eliminated a sniper, then charged the machine gun position, killing the occupants. When a second machine gun opened up, he crawled forward within point-blank range, threw a hand grenade in, and disabled that gun. When more North Vietnamese soldiers came over and took over the gun, he stood up in the open, used a light anti-tank weapon to knock out the position. The team was successfully extracted by helicopter. For this, he was nominated the first time. Next November 1968, he's now in Laos. After 4 days in the area, his team is ambushed by Vietnamese soldiers, including a Soviet-built tank. Braving intense fire, Howard crept forward, knocked out the enemy tank. He's already wounded. He charges 300 yards through enemy fire to rescue 2 pilots and a wounded door gunner who were shot down trying to come in and rescue him. He is then wounded again by 14 pieces of shrapnel, at which point he now becomes angry. He charges the North Vietnamese, killing 2 and dragging back a 3rd as a prisoner. He halts the NVA anti-aircraft fire that allows them to basically stay in their position overnight. They're extracted the next morning. Second nomination. Third nomination, he is within 6 weeks of this happening. This guy's already been hit by 14 pieces of shrapnel, shot and wounded, and he's back in action in 6 weeks. This time, they are on a mission to rescue a guy who was separated from his unit. He's going in looking for a guy that got lost. As they're going through, the platoon leader steps on a landmine. Platoon leader's wounded. He's laying there administering first aid to the platoon leader. As he's dragging him off the hill after bandaging his wounds, he's shot in his foot. He will then take the 20 other guys that are with him, organize them in a defense. They are surrounded for about 3.5 hours, taking massive enemy fire. He will be wounded a few more times as they are doing this. He organizes the defenses, basically gets ready to die. About this time, here comes the helicopters. They come in, and he is, even though badly wounded, the last man aboard the helicopter. For this, they will finally push through the Medal of Honor. When I first heard the story, I was amazed. How can you be nominated for a Medal of Honor 3 times? This tells you how he can be nominated for a Medal of Honor 3 times. We here try to teach you those Army values. This man exemplified those Army values.